Have you ever had that strange feeling? You know, the one where it seems like everything around you is the same, but somehow you're different? It's like waking up one day and realizing the world has a whole new glow to it. Or maybe you've found yourself questioning things you've always believed, wondering if there's more to life than what meets the eye. If you felt this way, you might be at the start of something amazing, a spiritual awakening. Now, don't worry if you're not sure what that means. A lot of people hear spiritual awakening and think it's something only monks or really serious meditation experts go through. But that's not true at all. Spiritual awakening can happen to anyone at any time. And it's not about becoming a totally different person overnight. It's more like slowly waking up to a deeper part of yourself and the world around you. Think of it like this. Imagine you've been watching a movie your whole life, but you thought it was real. Then, little by little, you start to realize it's just a movie. You begin to see behind the scenes, notice the script, and understand that there's so much more going on than what's on the screen. That's kind of what a spiritual awakening feels like. It's like you're waking up to a bigger picture of life. But here's the thing. This journey isn't always smooth sailing. It can be confusing, exciting, scary, and wonderful all at the same time. Some days you might feel on top of the world, like you've figured out all of life's secrets. Other days, you might feel lost and wonder if you're going crazy. Don't worry though. These ups and downs are all part of the process. In this video, we're going to dive into what spiritual awakening really feels like. We'll talk about the signs that show you might be going through one, the emotional roller coaster it can take you on, and how it can change the way you see the world. Whether you think you might be experiencing a spiritual awakening, or you're just curious about what it's all about, stick around. You might just find some answers to questions you didn't even know you had. Now, let's get into the meat of it. What exactly is a spiritual awakening? Well, it's not as mysterious or complicated as it might sound. At its core, a spiritual awakening is a shift in how you see yourself and the world around you. It's like you've been wearing glasses with the wrong prescription your whole life, and suddenly, you get the right ones. Everything looks clearer, sharper, and somehow more real. But here's the important part. A spiritual awakening isn't about finding all the answers. In fact, it often leads to more questions. It's about starting to see that there's more to life than just what's on the surface. You might start to feel a deeper connection to everything around you. The trees, the sky, even the strangers you pass on the street. They all start to feel more alive, more connected to you somehow. A spiritual awakening can also shake up your beliefs. Things you've always thought were true might suddenly feel off. It's like you're looking at your life with fresh eyes, and some things just don't add up anymore. This can be scary, but it's also exciting. It's a chance to figure out what really matters to you, not just what you've been told should matter. Now, it's super important to remember that a spiritual awakening is a personal journey. It's different for everyone. Your awakening won't look exactly like anyone else's, and that's okay. Some people have sudden, dramatic experiences that change everything overnight. For others, it's a slow, gradual process that unfolds over months or even years. There's no right or wrong way to have a spiritual awakening. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. Some kids hop on and pedal away on the first try. Others need training wheels for a while. And some might fall a few times before they get the hang of it. But in the end, they all learn to ride. Spiritual awakening is kind of like that. We all get there in our own time, in our own way. One thing that often happens during a spiritual awakening is that you start to feel more connected to something bigger than yourself. This doesn't have to be religious, though it can be for some people. It might be a sense of connection to nature, to other people, or to the universe as a whole. You might start to feel like you're part of something vast and amazing, rather than just a small, separate individual. Another common experience is a shift in what feels important to you. Things that used to matter a lot, like having the latest gadget or impressing others, might start to feel less important. Instead, you might find yourself caring more about deeper things, like your relationships, your personal growth, or how you can help others. A spiritual awakening can also bring up a lot of emotions. You might feel more sensitive, both to your own feelings and to the feelings of others. This can be overwhelming at times, but it can also lead to deeper, more meaningful connections with people. Remember, a spiritual awakening isn't about becoming perfect or solving all of life's problems. It's about starting to see life from a different perspective. It's about growth and discovery. And most importantly, it's about becoming more authentically you. Now that we've talked about what a spiritual awakening is, let's dive into some of the signs that you might be going through one. Remember, you don't need to experience all of these to be having a spiritual awakening. Even just one or two of these signs could mean you're starting on this journey. One of the first signs many people notice is a feeling of disconnection from their old life. Things that used to excite you might start to feel empty or meaningless. Your job, your hobbies, even some of your relationships, they might not give you the same satisfaction they once did. It's like you've outgrown them somehow. This can be really confusing and even a bit scary. You might worry that something's wrong with you, but really, it's just a sign that you're changing and growing. It's like when you were a kid and suddenly found your favorite toys weren't as fun anymore. You hadn't become broken. You'd just grown up a little. This disconnection isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's more like you're making room for new things that align better with who you're becoming. You might find yourself drawn to new interests, new ideas, or new types of people. This is all part of the process of discovering your authentic self. Another common sign of spiritual awakening is an increase in your intuition and sensitivity. You might start to pick up on things you never noticed before. Maybe you can sense how someone's feeling without them saying a word. Or you might get strong gut feelings about situations or decisions. This heightened sensitivity isn't just about emotions. You might become more sensitive to your environment too. Loud noises might bother you more than they used to. You might find yourself craving time in nature or feeling overwhelmed in crowded places. Some people even report becoming more sensitive to certain foods or substances. This increase in sensitivity can be a bit overwhelming at first. You might feel like you're picking up on everyone's emotions, or like the world is suddenly too loud and bright. But as you learn to manage it, this sensitivity can become a powerful tool. It can help you navigate life with more awareness and make decisions that are truly right for you. A spiritual awakening often brings with it a lot of questions. You might start to question beliefs you've held your whole life. This could be religious beliefs, cultural values, or even just assumptions about how the world works. Things you've always accepted as true might suddenly feel uncertain. This questioning isn't about rejecting everything you've ever believed. It's about examining your beliefs and figuring out which ones truly resonate with you. You might find that some beliefs still feel right, while others no longer fit with your expanding understanding of the world. This process can be uncomfortable. It might feel like the ground is shifting under your feet, but it's also incredibly freeing. As you question and explore, you're creating space for new understandings and beliefs that align more closely with your true self. As you go through a spiritual awakening, you might find yourself hungry for meaning. The old goals that drove you, maybe getting a promotion, buying a bigger house, or achieving some form of status, might not feel as important anymore. Instead, you might find yourself asking bigger questions. What's my purpose? How can I make a difference in the world? What really matters in life? This search for meaning can lead you down all sorts of interesting paths. You might become interested in philosophy, psychology, or different spiritual traditions. You might feel drawn to volunteer work or find ways to incorporate more meaning into your everyday life. This desire for purpose isn't about finding one big answer that explains everything. It's more about connecting with what truly matters to you and living in a way that honors that. It's about aligning your outer life with your inner values and sense of purpose. Interestingly, spiritual awakening can often affect your sleep. You might find yourself waking up at odd hours, particularly in the early morning. Some people report waking up regularly between 3 and 5 a.m., a time that's sometimes called the spiritual hour. You might also experience changes in your dreams. Your dreams might become more vivid, more meaningful, or easier to remember. Some people even report having lucid dreams, where they're aware they're dreaming and can control what happens. These sleep changes aren't usually harmful, but they can be disruptive. If you're concerned, it's always a good idea to check with a doctor. But for many people going through a spiritual awakening, These sleep changes are just part of the process of becoming more aware and attuned to different levels of consciousness. One of the most profound signs of spiritual awakening is a growing sense of oneness or interconnectedness with everything around you. You might start to feel like the boundaries between you and the rest of the world are less solid than you thought. This might sound a bit abstract, but it often shows up in very concrete ways. You might feel a deep sense of compassion for others, even people you don't know. You might feel a strong connection to nature, feeling the aliveness of trees or the earth beneath your feet. Some people describe it as a sense of being part of a greater whole, like a drop of water in an ocean. This feeling of oneness can bring a deep sense of peace and belonging. It can change how you interact with the world, leading to more compassion, less judgment, and a greater sense of responsibility for the well-being of others and the planet. As you go through a spiritual awakening, you might find yourself craving authenticity in all areas of your life. You might start to notice when you're not being true to yourself, maybe in how you act around certain people or in the work you do. This desire for authenticity can lead to some big changes. You might feel compelled to be more honest in your relationships, even if it's uncomfortable. You might reconsider your career path, looking for work that aligns more closely with your values. You might change how you dress or express yourself, caring less about fitting in and more about being true to who you are. This push towards authenticity isn't always easy. It might mean facing fears, having difficult conversations, or making big life changes. But it's also incredibly liberating. As you become more authentic, you might find that your relationships become deeper, your work becomes more fulfilling, and you feel more at peace with yourself. Another beautiful sign of spiritual awakening is an increase in empathy and compassion. You might find yourself feeling others' emotions more deeply. The suffering of others, even people you don't know personally, might affect you more than it used to. This increased empathy isn't about taking on everyone's problems as your own. It's more about a deeper understanding and connection with others. You might find yourself being kinder, more patient, or more willing to see things from other people's perspectives. This growth in compassion often extends beyond humans. Many people going through a spiritual awakening find themselves caring more about animals and the environment. You might become more conscious of how your actions affect the world around you. Despite all the questioning and uncertainty that can come with a spiritual awakening, many people also experience moments of profound clarity. It's like the fog clears and suddenly things make sense in a way they never did before. This clarity might come in flashes, moments of insight where you suddenly understand something about yourself or the world. Or it might be a more gradual process of things falling into place. This clarity doesn't mean you have all the answers. In fact, you might find yourself more comfortable with not knowing everything, but you might have a clearer sense of what's truly important to you, or a better understanding of your place in the world. Spiritual awakening isn't just about mental and emotional changes. Many people also experience physical and energetic sensations. You might feel tingling or warmth in certain parts of your body, especially the top of your head, the middle of your forehead, or your chest. Some people report feeling energy moving through their body, or a sense of lightness or heaviness. You might become more aware of the energy of places or people around you. These sensations can be strange and sometimes uncomfortable. If they're severe or worrying, it's always a good idea to check with a doctor. But for many people, these physical and energetic experiences are just part of their awakening journey. Remember, everyone's spiritual awakening is unique. You might experience some of these signs strongly, others mildly, and some not at all. And that's okay. The important thing is to stay open, curious, and gentle with yourself as you navigate this journey. Trust your own experience and don't worry about whether you're doing it right. There's no one right way to have a spiritual awakening. Your path is uniquely yours. Now that we've talked about the signs of spiritual awakening, let's dive into what it actually feels like emotionally. Buckle up, because this part of the journey can be quite a ride. Imagine you're on a roller coaster. One moment you're climbing up, filled with excitement and anticipation. The next, you're plummeting down, your stomach in your throat. That's a bit what the emotional side of spiritual awakening can feel like. You might experience intense highs followed by deep lows, often in quick succession. One day, you might feel on top of the world. Everything seems clear. You feel connected to something greater than yourself, and you're filled with a sense of purpose and joy. But the very next day, you might feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed by it all. This back and forth is totally normal. It's your emotions adjusting to your expanding awareness. As you go through a spiritual awakening, you might find that you're feeling everything more intensely. It's like someone turned up the volume on your emotions. Joy might feel more joyful, but sadness might feel sadder too. You might cry more easily, whether from happiness or sorrow. This heightened sensitivity isn't just about your own emotions. You might find that you're picking up on other people's feelings more easily too. Walking into a room, you might suddenly be aware of the mood, even if no one's saying anything. This can be overwhelming at first, but over time, it can become a valuable tool for understanding and connecting with others. It's common during a spiritual awakening to feel lost or confused. The beliefs and ideas you've relied on for so long might not make sense anymore. It can feel like you're adrift in a big ocean without a map or compass. This feeling of being lost isn't a bad thing, even though it can be uncomfortable. It's a sign that you're opening up to new possibilities. You're questioning things you've always taken for granted, and that can naturally lead to feeling unsure. Remember, it's okay not to have all the answers. In fact, being comfortable with not knowing is a big part of spiritual growth. With all these big changes happening, it's natural to feel some anxiety or fear. You might worry that you're losing touch with reality or that you're somehow going crazy. You might fear what these changes mean for your life, your relationships, or your future. These fears are normal. Any big change can be scary, and a spiritual awakening is a very big change indeed. It's shaking up your whole way of seeing the world. It's important to be gentle with yourself during this time. Remember, what you're going through is a natural process of growth and expansion. It's not all confusion and anxiety, though. Spiritual awakening can also bring moments of incredible joy and excitement. You might feel a sense of wonder at the world around you, like you're seeing everything with new eyes. Simple things, a beautiful sunset, a kind gesture from a stranger, the feeling of grass under your feet, might fill you with a deep sense of joy and gratitude. There's often an excitement that comes with spiritual awakening too. It's like you're uncovering a big, wonderful secret about life. You're growing and changing in ways you never expected, and that can be thrilling. Sometimes, going through a spiritual awakening can feel lonely. You're changing in ways that the people around you might not understand. You might find that you can't relate to your friends or family in the same way anymore. The things they care about might seem less important to you now, and the things you're excited about might seem strange to them. This feeling of loneliness is challenging, but it's also temporary. As you continue on your journey, you'll likely find new people who understand what you're going through. You might even find that your relationships with others deepen as you become more authentic and open. Amidst all the ups and downs, many people going through a spiritual awakening also experience moments of deep peace and calm. It's like finding a quiet center in the middle of a storm. These moments might come during meditation, while you're out in nature, or even in the middle of your everyday activities. This peace isn't about everything in your life being perfect. It's a deeper sense of okayness, a feeling that no matter what's happening on the surface, at your core, you're all right. These moments of peace can be incredibly healing and can help balance out some of the more challenging emotions. Remember, all of these emotions are part of the journey. There's no right or wrong way to feel during a spiritual awakening. The key is to allow yourself to feel whatever comes up without judgment. Each emotion, whether it feels good or bad, is helping you grow and expand. As you go through a spiritual awakening, you might notice that you're not just feeling differently. You're seeing the world differently too. Let's explore some of the ways your perception might change. One of the biggest shifts in perception during a spiritual awakening is starting to see beyond the surface of things. It's like you're developing X-ray vision for life. You might start to notice the deeper currents running beneath everyday situations. For example, you might find yourself in a conversation and suddenly be aware of all the unspoken things, the emotions, the old patterns, the deeper needs driving what's being said. Or you might look at a tree and not just see leaves and branches, but feel a sense of its aliveness, its connection to the earth and sky. This shift can apply to how you see yourself too. You might start to recognize that you're more than just your thoughts, emotions, or the roles you play in life. There's a deeper essence to who you are, and you're beginning to connect with that. Many people going through a spiritual awakening notice changes in how they perceive time. Sometimes time might seem to slow down or speed up in unusual ways. You might find yourself so absorbed in the present moment that hours pass without you noticing. Or a brief moment might feel incredibly rich and full, as if it contains whole worlds of experience. You might also start to see your life from a broader perspective. The things that seemed so urgent and important before might now seem less pressing when viewed from this larger context. This can bring a sense of peace and help you prioritize what truly matters to you. As your perception shifts, you might start noticing patterns you never saw before. This could be patterns in your own behavior, in your relationships, or in the world around you. It's like you're starting to see the invisible threads that connect things. You might notice how certain thoughts lead to certain emotions, which lead to certain actions. Or you might see how events in your life seem to echo each other, teaching you similar lessons in different ways. This awareness of patterns can be incredibly helpful in understanding yourself and your life better. Many people going through a spiritual awakening report experiencing more synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that seem too perfectly timed to be random. Maybe you're thinking about a friend you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly they call you. Or you keep seeing the same number everywhere you look. These synchronicities can feel magical, like the universe is winking at you. They often bring a sense that there's more going on than what we can see on the surface, that perhaps everything is more connected than we realized. Your perception of life's challenges might shift during a spiritual awakening. Things that used to really upset you might not bother you as much anymore. You might start to see difficulties as opportunities for growth rather than as punishments or bad luck. This doesn't mean you'll never feel upset or frustrated, but you might find that you're able to step back and see the bigger picture more easily. You might ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how is this helping me grow? This shift in perspective can make life's ups and downs easier to navigate. Some people find that their physical senses seem heightened during a spiritual awakening. Colors might look brighter or more vivid. You might notice subtle sounds you never paid attention to before. Food might taste more intense, or you might become more sensitive to different textures. This heightened sensory awareness can make everyday experiences feel fresh and new. It's like you're rediscovering the world with new eyes and ears and taste buds. Perhaps one of the most profound shifts in perception during a spiritual awakening is a growing sense of oneness or unity with everything around you. The boundaries between you and not you might start to feel less solid. You might look at a stranger and feel a deep sense of connection, recognizing that at our core, we're all the same. Or you might feel a strong bond with nature, feeling yourself as part of the web of life rather than separate from it. This sense of oneness doesn't mean you lose your individual identity. It's more like your sense of self expands to include more than just your personal story. It can bring a deep feeling of belonging and interconnectedness with all of life. Spiritual awakening isn't just about emotions and perceptions. It can involve physical sensations too. Let's explore some of the bodily experiences that might come with this journey. One common physical sensation during spiritual awakening is what some people call energy rushes. These might feel like waves of tingles or warmth moving through your body. Sometimes they're gentle, and other times they can be quite intense. These energy rushes often start at the base of your spine and move upwards. Some people relate this to the concept of Kundalini awakening in yoga traditions. Whatever you call it, these sensations can feel strange, but are generally nothing to worry about. You might experience tingling sensations in different parts of your body. Common areas include the top of your head, the middle of your forehead, often called the third eye area, your hands, or the soles of your feet. These tingles might come and go, or they might be more constant. Some people describe it as feeling like gentle electricity or bubbles under their skin. While it can feel odd, many people find these sensations pleasant or exciting. Some people going through a spiritual awakening notice unexplained changes in their body temperature. You might feel sudden waves of heat, like hot flashes, or you might experience chills or cold spots in certain parts of your body. These temperature changes often don't have any medical explanation. They're usually temporary and nothing to be concerned about, but if they're severe or persistent, it's always a good idea to check with a doctor. Your energy levels might fluctuate in new ways during a spiritual awakening. Some people find they need less sleep than before, waking up early feeling refreshed and energized. Others might feel more tired than usual, needing extra rest as their body adjusts to the changes they're going through. You might also notice that your energy changes throughout the day in new ways. You might have sudden bursts of energy, or times when you feel very calm and still. Listening to your body and honoring its needs during this time is important. Some people experience sensations of pressure or heaviness in certain parts of their body. Common areas for this include the top of the head, the forehead, or the chest. This might feel like a gentle weight or pressure, not usually painful but noticeable. In some traditions, these sensations are associated with energy centers in the body opening or expanding. Whether or not you believe in energy centers, these physical sensations are a common experience during spiritual awakening. Occasionally, people going through a spiritual awakening experience spontaneous body movements. This might be subtle, like your hands tingling and wanting to move in certain ways. Or it could be more noticeable, like feeling compelled to sway or move your body in specific patterns. Some spiritual traditions have practices that involve spontaneous movement, seeing it as a way for energy to move through the body. If you experience this, there's usually no need to worry. However, if the movements are violent or distressing, it's a good idea to speak with someone knowledgeable about spiritual awakening experiences. Many people find they become more aware of their bodies during a spiritual awakening. You might start to notice subtle sensations you never paid attention to before. You might become more tuned in to what your body needs in terms of food, rest, or movement. This increased body awareness can be a powerful tool for health and well-being. It can help you make choices that are more in tune with what your body truly needs. It's not uncommon for eating habits to change during a spiritual awakening. You might find yourself naturally drawn to healthier foods, or you might lose interest in foods you used to enjoy. Some people find they need less food than before, while others might experience increased appetite. These changes often happen naturally, as part of your body adjusting to your shifting energy and awareness. However, it's important to ensure you're still eating a balanced diet and getting the nutrients you need. Remember, while these physical sensations are common during spiritual awakening, everyone's experience is unique. You might have some of these sensations, all of them, or none at all, and that's okay. The key is to stay tuned into your body, honor what you're feeling, and take care of yourself as you go through this transformative process. If any physical sensations are severe, persistent, or concerning, it's always a good idea to check with a healthcare provider. While many sensations can be part of the spiritual awakening process, it's important to rule out any potential medical issues. Spiritual awakening is a holistic process affecting body, mind, and spirit. By paying attention to these physical sensations, you can gain valuable insights into your journey and learn to work with your body as you navigate this transformative time. While spiritual awakening can be an incredible journey of growth and discovery, it's not without its challenges. Let's talk about some of the difficulties you might face along the way. One of the biggest challenges of spiritual awakening is feeling alone or misunderstood. As you start to see the world differently, you might find that the people around you don't quite get what you're going through. Your interests might change, and the things that everyone else seems to care about might not matter as much to you anymore. This can lead to feeling isolated or like you don't fit in. You might struggle to explain your experiences to friends or family, or feel like they think you've gone a bit crazy. Remember, this feeling of being alone is actually really common during spiritual awakening. Many people go through it. To help with this, try to connect with others who are on a similar path. Look for spiritual groups or online communities where you can share your experiences. Even if you can't find people in your immediate circle who understand, know that there are many others out there going through similar things. In the spiritual awakening journey, There's often a phase that's called the dark night of the soul. This is a period where you might feel lost, hopeless, or like everything you believed in has been stripped away. It can feel like you're in a deep, dark tunnel with no way out. This phase can be really tough, but it's actually a crucial part of the awakening process. It's like the cocoon stage of a butterfly. Everything seems dark and confined, but it's where the real transformation happens. During this time, it's important to be gentle with yourself. Remember that this phase doesn't last forever, even though it might feel like it will. Reach out for support if you need it, whether that's from a spiritual teacher, a therapist, or trusted friends. Spiritual awakening can bring big changes to your relationships. You might find that some relationships naturally drift apart as you change and grow. This can be painful, but it's often a necessary part of the process. On the flip side, you might also find that some relationships deepen and become more meaningful. As you become more authentic and open, you might connect with others in new and profound ways. Navigating these changes can be tricky. Try to be patient with the people in your life who might not understand what you're going through. At the same time, don't be afraid to set boundaries or seek out new connections that support your growth. Another challenge is figuring out how to integrate all your new insights and awareness into your everyday life. You might have profound realizations during meditation or moments of clarity, but then struggle with how to apply these in your job, your relationships, or your daily routines. This integration process takes time. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out right away. Try to be patient with yourself and take small steps to align your outer life with your inner changes. Maybe that means changing some of your habits, adjusting your work-life balance, or finding ways to incorporate your new interests into your daily life. As we talked about earlier, spiritual awakening can bring up intense emotions and physical sensations. Dealing with these can be challenging, especially if you're not used to experiencing such strong feelings or bodily experiences. It's important to find healthy ways to process and release these intense energies. This might involve practices like meditation, yoga, journaling, or creative expression. Physical exercise can also be really helpful for grounding yourself when things feel overwhelming. During spiritual awakening, you might find yourself questioning everything: your beliefs, your life choices, the nature of reality itself. While this questioning is an important part of growth, it can also be disorienting and unsettling. You might feel like you're constantly in a state of uncertainty, not sure what to believe or how to make decisions. This is normal, but it can be uncomfortable. Try to embrace the questions rather than rushing to find answers. Being comfortable with not knowing is actually a big part of spiritual growth. One practical challenge of spiritual awakening is figuring out how to balance your inner journey with your everyday responsibilities. You might feel drawn to spend all your time meditating or exploring your new awareness, but you still have to go to work, pay the bills, and take care of daily tasks. Finding this balance takes practice. Remember that spiritual awakening isn't about escaping from the world, but about bringing more awareness and presence into all aspects of your life, including the mundane parts. Now that we've talked about the challenges, let's focus on some of the positive impacts of spiritual awakening. While the journey can be tough at times, it also brings many beautiful and transformative experiences. One of the most profound impacts of spiritual awakening is a growing sense of inner peace. This doesn't mean you'll never feel upset or stressed again, but you might find that beneath the ups and downs of daily life, there's a deeper sense of okayness. This inner peace comes from realizing that you're more than just your thoughts and emotions. You start to connect with a part of yourself that remains calm and steady, even when life gets stormy. This can bring a deep sense of contentment and well-being that doesn't depend on external circumstances. As you go through a spiritual awakening, you might notice that you're becoming more compassionate and empathetic. You start to see beyond the surface of people's behavior and understand the deeper reasons why people act the way they do. This increased compassion often extends to yourself too. You might become more understanding and forgiving of your own mistakes and flaws. This self-compassion can be incredibly healing and can help you navigate life's challenges with more grace and ease. Spiritual awakening often brings a stronger sense of purpose to life. You might start to see how your unique gifts and experiences can contribute to the world in meaningful ways. This doesn't necessarily mean you'll suddenly know your exact life purpose, but you might feel a clearer sense of direction or a pull towards certain activities or ways of being. This sense of purpose can bring more meaning and fulfillment to your life. Even everyday tasks can start to feel more significant when you see how they fit into the bigger picture. While spiritual awakening can bring challenges to relationships, it can also lead to deeper, more authentic connections. As you become more true to yourself, you might find that your relationships become more genuine and meaningful. You might become a better listener, more present in your interactions with others. You might also attract new relationships that align more closely with your evolving self. These connections can be a source of great joy and support on your journey. Many people find that spiritual awakening enhances their creativity. As you open up to new ways of seeing the world, you might find yourself bursting with new ideas or drawn to express yourself in creative ways. This could manifest as a renewed interest in art, music, writing, or other creative pursuits. Or it might show up as creative problem solving in your work or daily life. This enhanced creativity can bring more joy and playfulness into your life. Spiritual awakening often leads to greater emotional and mental resilience. As you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions rather than getting caught up in them, you become better able to navigate life's ups and downs. You might find that things that used to really upset you don't bother you as much anymore. Or when you do get upset, you're able to bounce back more quickly. This resilience can help you face life's challenges with more grace and equanimity. One beautiful impact of spiritual awakening is a growing sense of interconnectedness with all of life. You might start to feel a deep connection to nature, to other people, even to the entire universe. This sense of interconnectedness can bring a profound feeling of belonging. It can help you feel less alone and more supported by life itself. It often leads to a greater sense of responsibility for the well-being of others and the planet. Spiritual awakening often brings a greater ability to live in the present moment. Instead of constantly worrying about the future or replaying the past, you might find yourself more able to fully experience and appreciate what's happening right now. This presence can bring a richness and depth to everyday experiences. Simple things like eating a meal, talking with a friend, or taking a walk can become sources of joy and wonder. As we come to the end of our exploration of spiritual awakening, let's talk about some ways you can support yourself on this journey. One of the most powerful tools for supporting your spiritual awakening is mindfulness practice. This simply means paying attention to your present moment experience without judgment. You can practice mindfulness anytime, anywhere, while eating, walking, or even doing the dishes. Meditation is another great way to support your awakening. It doesn't have to be complicated. Even just sitting quietly and focusing on your breath for a few minutes each day can make a big difference. These practices can help you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions and connect with that deeper part of yourself. Nature can be a powerful ally in your spiritual awakening. Spending time outdoors, whether it's in a forest, by the ocean, or even in a city park, can help you feel more grounded and connected. Try to really engage with nature using all your senses. Notice the colors, the textures, the sounds around you. This can help you practice presence and can often bring a sense of peace and perspective. Writing can be a great way to process the experiences and insights that come with spiritual awakening. Try keeping a journal where you can write about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Don't worry about writing perfectly. This is just for you. You might be surprised at the insights that emerge when you put pen to paper. Spiritual awakening can be intense, both emotionally and physically. It's important to take good care of yourself during this time. This might mean getting enough rest, eating nourishing food, or engaging in physical activities that you enjoy. Self-care also means being gentle with yourself. Remember, there's no right way to go through a spiritual awakening. Honor your own pace and your own unique journey. While spiritual awakening is a personal journey, you don't have to go through it alone. Consider seeking out a spiritual teacher, counselor, or support group. Having people you can talk to who understand what you're going through can be incredibly helpful. Remember, it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Sometimes just sharing your experiences with someone who gets it can make a big difference. One of the best things you can do to support your awakening is to stay open and curious. Try not to judge your experiences or rush to conclusions. Instead, approach everything with a sense of wonder and openness. Be willing to question your beliefs and assumptions. Stay open to new ideas and perspectives. This openness can help you continue growing and learning on your spiritual path. As you have realizations or insights, try to find ways to integrate them into your daily life. This might mean making changes to your habits, your relationships, or your work life to align more closely with your evolving understanding. Remember, spiritual awakening isn't about escaping from the world, but about bringing more awareness and presence into all aspects of your life. We've covered a lot of ground in our exploration of what spiritual awakening feels like. From the initial signs and the emotional roller coaster, to the changes in perception and physical sensations, to the challenges and positive impacts, spiritual awakening is a profound and multifaceted journey. Remember, everyone's experience of spiritual awakening is unique. You might relate to some of what we've discussed, or your experience might be completely different. And that's okay. There's no one right way to go through a spiritual awakening. What's most important is to approach this journey with patience, self-compassion, and an open mind. Trust your own experience and intuition. Don't be afraid to question, explore, and discover. Spiritual awakening can be challenging at times, but it also has the potential to bring incredible growth, insight, and transformation. It can lead to a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and connection with yourself and the world around you. As you continue on your journey, remember to be kind to yourself. Take it one step at a time. Celebrate the small victories and insights along the way. And know that even in the difficult moments, you're growing and evolving in beautiful ways. Whether you're just starting to notice the signs of spiritual awakening, you're in the thick of it, or you're further along on your journey, know that you're not alone. Many others have walked this path before you, and many are walking it alongside you right now. Trust in your own inner wisdom. You have everything you need within you for this journey. Stay curious, stay open, and keep exploring. Your spiritual awakening is a precious gift. Embrace it, honor it, and let it unfold in its own perfect way. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of spiritual awakening. May your journey be filled with insight, growth, and moments of profound beauty and connection. Remember, this is your unique path. Walk it with courage, with wonder, and with an open heart.